Hey guys, what is going on? Jurgen from Zergrino Sports here, and today we've got a little bit of a different video for the channel. I know I typically make wrestling videos, whether it be gameplay primarily or just, opinions or reviews. I just hit my mic. That's a great start. Opinions or reviews or whatever the fuck. Those will be returning soon. I'm working on editing some of the universe mode shit, and I just need to get back into it. My recording software is still fucked, or the hardware, the Elgato. So the videos might be a little bit more disjointed than before, but I'll try and work around it. Anyways, that is not the point of today's video. The point of today's video is I just wanted to make a video talking about the situation at Milan currently. So, wrestling people, if you're not a fan of football, you don't need to stick around. But, so basically, shit's not great. There's a lot of stuff going on at the club that is just very problematic, I would say, and it's setting a precedent of Milan becoming a team that it's not meant to be. Because I think, for me personally, Milan represents, football history, football royalty, you could say, football heritage, as Jose Mourinho might say. But yeah, so Milan is a prestigious club. I started following Milan when we won the 2010-11 Scudetto, and then we entered the banter era, and I stuck around for some godforsaken reason. But yeah, I love Milan, and it was definitely really hard during the banter era, and I don't like where the club is headed. I think the firing of Maldini, and Massara leaving with him, but Maldini primarily being fired so unceremoniously was a huge mistake by the new management. Gerry Cardinale, fuck yourself. Hey man, Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg are having a UFC fight or MMA fight or whatever the fuck. UFC would probably host it. Gary, I don't know how to pronounce your name. It's spelt Jerry, but with a G. Meet me in the octagon or the ring. No, I'm joking. But I would kill him. But not actually. That's not a threat. He doesn't look physically imposing, and he's old, and yeah. Anyways, that's not the point of the video. It is a little bit. So I basically wanted to talk about Maldini. I wanted to talk about Tonali. And then just kind of like the general what's going on. It might be a long video, it might not. I tend to ramble, blah, blah, blah. But anyways, yeah. So first of all, with Maldini, big mistake, big mistake, timing-wise, and just the decision in general. I understand that it's the decision they made. If it's the decision you make, getting rid of him at the very beginning of the Mercato probably isn't the best idea, because he would have already been working on shit in the second half of the season that just ended. Like you saw with Kamada, the deal was pretty much done, and then he got fired, and it's been like, what, a month? And he's still not here? You know what I mean? Like, has it been a month since Maldini got fired? I don't know. It's been a little bit, but yeah, it's just... So the timing of the decision is poor, and I think the decision itself was a terrible decision. Now, I understand very much that when a company or an investment, fund or whatever the fuck purchases a new company or merges or whatever, they want their guys in the management positions that they're comfortable with, that they're familiar with. I understand that completely from a business perspective. So I understand that side of things, and I understand that some people think that the Mercato was a failure, and I would agree that it was a bad Mercato last year. It's just Origi, who the fuck, I don't know how you say yes to that deal. He's old, he was injury prone. I get it's a free transfer, but he's on high wages. He was never going to translate well to Italy. I mean, the game in England is just a lot less tactical. In Italy, it's a lot more tactical. You have guys in Italy who, like, they look like they're part-time fucking plumbers or work in a fucking pasta kitchen part-time. You never heard of them if you don't actually watch the league, and they are locking people down more than like a top six side in the Premier League does sometimes, just because it's a tactical setup. It's a tactical league a lot more than the Premier League. I remember, this is a little bit of a tangent, but I remember, I don't talk to him anymore, but my father, when Cristiano Ronaldo went to Juve, they were playing Hellas Verona, I believe. No, they were playing Chievo, even worse. They were playing Chievo before they got relegated. I think that was the season they got relegated, maybe? I don't know. They were playing Chievo, and he goes to me, he's like, oh, that Chievo Verona, they're a very good team, huh? I'm like, they're like the worst team in the league, and they're going to get relegated, because the guy didn't watch football because he's always busy. So, like, it's just the general perception of like a casual fan, which is typically what the Premier League is, let's be honest. Casual fans, because they just have the best distribution, so they have more eyes on the product, right? And that's not necessarily a knock on the league. Like, it's entertainment value, I get it, but it's not the highest level of the sport, especially from a tactical aspect, in my opinion at least, and I think that of many other people. But the point there being, players from the Premier League don't always translate well to Italy, because it's a lot more of a tactical league. It's a lot more physical. So Origi was a bad deal from the start. Maldini does not get a pass for that one at all. That's an awful decision. That's a completely bad deal, right? Then you go on to Vranks. Wasn't given a chance by Pioli. You go on to De Ketelaere. Wasn't given a chance by Pioli. Pioli pretty much fucking killed the dude's confidence. Adli, which I guess was last season's transfer, but he went back on loan and he came back, wasn't given a chance. Malik Chow was on the course of not being given a chance the whole season until injury problems meant he had to start, and then he did well. He's still very raw. He's still got a lot of improvement to do, obviously, but he did very well, and then he became a starter for the second half of the season. The same thing happened with Kalulu a couple years ago. When there was injury problems, he stepped in and he became a starter for the team. So, like, or was it the Scudetto year, or was it the year before that? It was the Scudetto year, wasn't it? I don't know. My mind's fucked, so my memory's really bad. But, like, my point is, Pioli, the bald Mr. Clean piece of shit, get the fuck out of my club. Pay the release clause for De Zerbi, brother. Just get him in. Get Pioli the fuck out. Anyways, Pioli is stubborn, and he does not integrate new players into the team unless he has no other option. Now, and the thing is, even when the guy started Messias for the second half of the season over Salamakers. I know Salamakers had fucking injury issues, but when he was healthy again, he was on the bench, and he's better than Messias. I'm not a big fan of Salamakers, okay? I'm probably butchering his name, by the way, but allow it. I'm not a big fan of him. I think he's average or above average slightly. Messias is barely a footballer, okay? Thank you for the header against Atletico Madrid. Thank you for a couple weird goals that you scored here and there, but you probably cost us more points and cost us more goals than you won us points or scored us goals. He's barely a footballer. That's another bad deal by Maldini. I understand you needed cover for the right wing, and the most of the budget was going to go to other positions. I get that. Now, but yeah, the Chow deal I think was good value. It was like 12 million or some shit like that. The Vranks deal, it doesn't look like they're gonna activate his buy clause, because it was like 8 mil or some shit like that, right? But again, he was never given a chance to play. And so I understand some of those deals were not great. Now, De Ketelaere for 35 mil, I think the guy has a lot of talent, and I think if he's given a chance at Milan, he'll blow up. Or if he goes somewhere else and they give him a chance as a starter, actually give him confidence, I think he'll blow up. So I think that is on Pioli 100%. Now, and also it takes time, like I said, to adapt to Italy, so there's that aspect as well. But guess what? You need playing time to adapt, and by playing time, I mean starts, not, hey, here's 10 minutes at the end of a game, and I'm going to judge you solely on that. That's not how it works, Pioli. Go fuck yourself. Now, a lot of people will spend a lot of time thinking, oh, you missed out on Botman. You spent the whole summer going for Renato Sanchez. You missed out on Enzo Fernandez, Julian Alvarez, guys like that. And yes, that is true. I will give you that. Enzo Fernandez for, 15 million or whatever. And then turned around in 6 months to be sold for 120 or whatever the fuck Chelsea paid for him. You know what I mean? Cool. Okay, and he was a big talent even in Argentina, right? Before he moved, most people knew he was gonna blow up. I don't think they expected that 6 month turnaround, but like he had talent. Julian Alvarez obviously had talent. Man City got him relatively cheap. It was like 18 mil or some shit, right? 20 something. Renato Sanchez. Okay, I understand why he went for Renato Sanchez for so long. Maybe you should have looked at a different profile though. Because, again, Renato Sanchez seemed like he had his eyes set on the money at PSG, staying in France, whatever. But you needed to replace Kessie with somebody who wasn't Tommaso Pobega, which I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt early on in the season, but he's kind of ass, okay? I thought, okay, he's still kind of young. He's still got a little bit of potential. Let him cook. He burnt the kitchen down, okay? Get Pobega's ass, okay? I'll say it now. I know. Oh, man, he's ass. Okay, so I'll give you that, right? But I understand why he tried so hard for Renato Sanchez, because, we needed a Kessie replacement. That falls through. Okay, Botman's gone, so you can't invest in the defense. Okay. Here's the issue with saying, oh, you missed out on Enzo, you missed out on Julian, you missed out on Botman. Botman maybe would have been different, but do you really think Pioli would have played Enzo and would have played Julian Alvarez and would have played Botman? Do you really think he would have played these unknown players? No. He didn't give De Ketelaere a chance. When Brahim, thanks for your time here, 3 years on loan, he scored some important goals, he played a vital role in the team. And if he just had good decision making and was a team player every game, he'd be so good. But then he thinks it's futsal all the time. And then like 1 out of fucking 10 games, he's like, oh, wait, this is football. And then he fucking plays great. And it's like, wow, dude, you're utilizing your talent. And then the other games, he's like, futsal, futsal, futsal. And it's just, there's so much talent there, but the brain isn't along with the talent, unfortunately. But thank you for your time here. Anyways, he's on the last year of his loan. You know that if he plays incredible, our buy option is 20 and Real's buyback is like 23. So realistically, he's never staying. You know what I mean? Realistically, either he plays like shit all year and we're not gonna buy him back or activate our buy clause, or he plays amazing and we're going to buy him just to make a 3 million profit. He's not going to be here for the future. Why not integrate De Ketamine? Why don't you integrate him from the start? 35 million transfer. Big move. Why don't you just integrate him from the start of the season? No, because you're stubborn and you want to play your guys. Okay, Pioli. So if you think De Ketelare was brought in to fill that position, basically, and he wasn't given the opportunity, do you really think Enzo or Julian or Botman would have been given the opportunities? You know what I mean? Okay, they went to those places and they blew up because they were given opportunities at those places. Enzo started at Benfica. Julian, he doesn't start because Holland is there, but he gets minutes and he fucking cooks. And again, it's the Premier League. It's an attacker's league. It's kind of where attackers go to cook. But, and then with Botman as well, I think Botman would have done well in Italy, but who knows if he would have been actually given a chance. Because, again, Pioli is stubborn and he likes to pick his guys. So I understand missing out on those deals is a big concern, right? Because they went on to blow up. But would they have gone on to blow up with us? Probably not, because if De Ketelaere went somewhere else instead of Milan, he probably would be in that category of talents that were picked up and blew up and now they're worth much more. So yes, it's partly on Maldini for missing out on those targets. Yes, he spent a lot of the summer waiting and wasting time on Renato Sanches, but you needed a Kessie replacement, so I understand why that was his priority. And we felt it during the season because we didn't have a Kessie replacement. So, and then you add on to the fact that he got Theo Hernandez here, who I was not a fan of Theo Hernandez when he arrived. He's won me over. He's been improving defensively. I still think he's a little bit of a liability sometimes when he kind of has lapses in concentration, but he's just such an important asset in the attack. And again, he is improving defensively with every season, with every game. So, irreplaceable member of the squad. He brought in Leao, which at the time, again, I really liked Cutrone and I believed in him. And God, I was wrong. But he's who knows where now, stinking it up. And Leao's cooking for us. Probably not for long though, because Maldini's gone. And so he brought in Benacer. He brought in all these guys on financially good deals. Theo was 19. If we sell him now, we're probably going to get minimum triple of that. Benacer was, I think, under 20. Leao was around 20, I think, right? Like, it's all of these guys who are worth so much now were brought in on good deals. Obviously, he had some mismatches here and there, but, it's like Zlatan came back, that's a big deal. So it's just Maldini played such a vital role in having some really good long-term players brought in that worked out. He helped bring Tonali in, obviously, which I'll get on to the Tonali thing in a minute. And then also a thing with Maldini is he has an aura, he has a weight in the football game, in the football world that is just irreplaceable. Maldini calls you and you're like, holy shit, Paolo Maldini is calling me. That's Paolo fucking Maldini. Who the fuck is Furlani? I get a call for caller ID Furlani, I'm like, oh, telemarketer, hang up the phone. Paolo Maldini calls me, I'm picking that shit up if I'm a footballer. You know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, hello. Even if it's just for him to be like, hey, man, I watched your game. Good shit. You were cooking. Great work. I'm going to be like, yes, thank you, sir. Much appreciated. I'm going to record the phone call. I'm going to get the fucking voice notes of it printed and put on my wall the moment Paolo Maldini praised my game. But if he's calling you to be like, hey, listen, we have a project. Here's this and this. We would love to have you at Milan as part of our project. Do you know how much weight that holds? So not only was he doing smart business, financially responsible business that was impacting our on-pitch performance in a positive way, he had his weight in the game was definitely a big factor in that, right? And the way you got rid of him was just so disrespectful. No thank you, no nothing. It was just it was a press release on the website, right? Saying, oh, we parted ways. No message on social media. No thank you for all your tremendous work. Blah, blah, blah. It was just, oh, he's gone, by the way. And then you had Furlani and fucking Scaroni or whatever the fuck his name is go out and be like, listen, man, this is for the greater good of Milan, blah, 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 bullshit. We want to continue building competitive, whatever the fuck, for the growth of blah, blah, blah. Shut the fuck, nobody cares. You're lying. And it's very true. And it's very obvious that they were lying. Anyways, so from the Maldini perspective, yes, it was a bad mercato. I don't think that's what influenced the sacking, though. I think basically what happened was new management came in. They wanted their guys at the top. But you can't fire the sporting director after a Scudetto winning season. So you give it a year. And then you're like, okay, well, now you find reasons. And again, I think most of the mercato being a failure is on Pioli, because he didn't integrate the signings. The one signing that he did integrate was Chow, and he did well when he was integrated, but he was only integrated because of injuries, and there was no other choice. So it's Pioli's stubbornness that, I think Vranks, if he was given more minutes, would have done well. I think Adli should have been given a lot more minutes. He was so forward thinking in the very few minutes he got. I think De Cardinale, if he was given time and confidence and support from the start of the season, he would have been so good for us, maybe in the middle to ending stretch of the season, but he was given no time or no opportunities, and he might be on the way out now. Who knows? I don't know. But yeah, so from the Maldini standpoint, there's that. Those are my thoughts. Timing of the decision, shit. The decision itself, shit. That's off to a bad start. The way they handled it so disrespectfully, so unceremoniously, shit. And also, imagine you're a player, right? And you're looking at the situation at Milan. They fucking kicked a club legend sporting director who was doing a good job out for basically no reason. Again, bad mercato, not all on him, and they were looking for reasons, in my opinion. They just kicked him to the curb like it was nothing. Am I going to want to go there? Fuck no. Because they're going to kick me to the curb unceremoniously whenever. And it's already happening with Tonali, right? So, Tonali, from the reports that have been circulating on Twitter from various whatever newspapers, whatever the fuck, journalists, I don't Tonali, before he went to the under-21s, said, I do not want to leave under any circumstances. Cool. I thought when he arrived and he took a pay cut to renew and all this and that and this and that, I thought he was going to stay and become a club legend for the rest of his career because he's a Milan fan, and you could tell he was. And he's such a good player. He's a very, very good player with the potential to be a great world-class player. He's still so young. If you keep surrounding him with good talent and a good system and eventually a good coach, because Pioli he's an all right coach, but he's not good. Let's be perfectly honest. He has a ceiling and he's hit it. We are not going anywhere further than we have gone with him, which was basically a fluke scudetto. I'm going to take it because it was great, but basically a fluke scudetto. Now, you have a guy like him who says, okay, I don't want to leave under any circumstances. Perfect. And then Cardinale turns around and says, hey, listen, we got a bid of 70 mil from Newcastle. I want to sell you, to his agent, right? And then he's like, okay, well, I literally told them I don't want to leave. And then now they're telling me they want me gone. Even if I love the club, even if I want to stay my whole career, if the management looks at the first offer they get from me and they're like, okay, yep, look at the books, get him out of here. Why would I want to stay at that point? Even if I'm a fan of the team. If I'm not wanted, I'm going to fuck off and take the tripled salary. Right? It's not like I was walking around like, hey guys, sell me this year, I want more fucking money. He said he wanted to stay. And then he gets turned around, they're like, okay, yeah, but we want you gone. And it's like, okay, well, if you want me gone, like, why am I going to stay? You know what I mean? So, okay. Now, Tonali's out the door. 70 million, some reports were 80 million. Regardless, sure, it's a lot of money. Okay? It is a lot of money. The problem is, it's not enough to justify getting rid of him. Because you still haven't replaced Kessie, so we still need Kessie replaced. Now you need a Tonali replacement. You need at least a temporary fix, so maybe a loan or something, or just a low cost, something to replace Benacer until he's back, because he's fucking out for however long. He doesn't have knees at this point. We don't have a starting midfielder now with Tonali gone until, like as of right now, we don't have a starting midfielder. Krunic, I love having him in the team. I think he's a great utility player. I think he's a great depth player. He gives his all. He doesn't complain about his role. I think he's great to have in the team. He's not a starting level player for our ambitions. Who else is there? Pobega's ass. Bakayoko's loan ended, I think, so I don't think he's here anymore. Adli's not really suited to play in that deeper role. Vranks' loan is gone. We don't really have anybody, unless I'm forgetting somebody, but we don't really have anybody for that midfield anymore. So that's fantastic. So you still need that Kessie replacement that we've needed for a year. You now need a Tonali replacement. You now need a Benacer, at least short-term fix for him. Maybe that's a tactical change. Maybe that's something else. I don't know. But you need to figure that out. We still need a starting right winger because Macias, barely a footballer. He needs to be out the fucking door. Take 2 million, take 5 million. Nobody's going to offer 10, but if somebody offers 10, take 10 and run with it. Get him the fuck out of here. If Salamakers has a big deal come in, get rid of him. If not, keep him as the backup. But we need a right wing who can start. And I think Arda Güler might be him. Güler, maybe, because it's the... I'm so awful at pronouncing names, man. I'm sorry. But I'm a big fan of that transfer, so I hope that goes through. But I'll get to that in a sec. You need a starting right wing. Like, we needed one for a while. You need a new striker because Giroud isn't going to cut it. Zlatan's gone. Origi, shit, he needs to be out the door. Colombo, I love Colombo, but it's too much pressure to put on him to just throw him into the fire. Now... So we already have 2 midfielders, maybe 3, a right wing, and then a striker. If you're not planning on giving De Ketelaere time, then you need a center attacking mid too if you're keeping the same system. So we're up to what, 6, right? 3 midfielders, right wing striker, and an attacking midfielder. That's 6. Realistically, we should be looking for another right back, or we should be giving Kalulu more opportunities at right back. I like Calabria. It's just all the injuries have caught up to him. He just can't keep up athletically anymore as a starter. As the backup, keep him, sure. Or if a big offer comes in, you can sell him and it's all profit because he's from the academy. But as a backup, he's fine. Florenzi, I think you should look at selling if he's not already here. I guess he could be a midfield option technically. He played midfield at Roma, right, before he got shifted out wide. Should we be looking for new center backs? Probably. But, I mean, that's like least of our worries. Left wing, left back, we're fine. Goalkeeper, we're fine. But you need 6 transfers, right? Our budget's already relatively low. Now, again, 70, 80 million is a lot of money. It's not enough. Because if you want to sign a player that is as good as a player as Tonali, he's going to cost the same or more as Tonali. So already that money is gone for a net zero effect on the team. And then you're stuck with the rest of the players that you still need to sign, which is now left at 5 or 4, depending on what you do with Benacer's situation. But if an offer of 120 came in, then you put 70 to somebody who's just as good as him, and then you put 50 towards a Kessie replacement. That takes care of 2 transfers. I could justify that. I still don't think it's a good idea to get rid of a player like him, but if 120 came in, put 50 towards a Kessie replacement, put that 70 right back into one of his replacements, you don't upgrade, but you get one position fixed without, sacrificing his position because you get a similar player in. I would understand that. But just bringing in 70 million, now you're going to have to either pay less money for an inferior player or the same amount of money for the same level player or more money for the same level player. It's not a good idea. And some people might be saying, oh, but it's profit. We paid like 20 million for him. That's 50 million of profit. The issue here is we've been linked to Fratesi. Fratesi is, I believe, older than Tonali. And he's not as good as Tonali. So it's an inferior player. And they've been linked at like 40 million for him. I think I saw a report that said 40 plus Colombo. And I think Colombo could get, I don't know, like anywhere between 5 and 15 million. So let's say average 10 million on the market if we were to sell him, right? Excuse me for my chair creaking, if that got picked up. So let's say 10 million average, between 5 and 10 million for Colombo. 40 plus 10 is 5, right? Simple math, cool. 20 million was what he cost. 50 million is the profit. We're putting all the profit back into a downgrade in the position. How does that make any sense? Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't. Now, I don't know how sports accounting works necessarily. I have an accounting degree, but we never really talked about sports accounting. So I don't know how a player's value is tracked on the books. I don't know if it's like 20 million signing and they sign a 5 million contract and that just gets spread out over the 5 years. So they're a depreciating asset, or if it's a young player, if they have like a market valuation system that appreciates their value as they grow as a player. I genuinely don't know how it works financially, economically in the club's finances, but just from a simplistic point of view where we spent 20, we sold them for 70, there's a 50 profit there. All of that's going right back into an inferior older player. It doesn't make sense. None of it makes sense. Because then you still have all those other positions to fill and you haven't done anything. You're at a net zero. Like, it's just, you downgraded for a net zero fucking impact on the books at the end of the day, from a simplistic point of view. So, like, it's such a stupid decision, in my opinion. But it's just, I hate it. Now, I think Arda Güler is a great signing to make. He's really young, so he fits, have that youth project kind of vibe. He's got a release clause that's pretty low at 17.5 or 18.5, whatever it is. He slots right into the starting 11. Perfect. The thing is, like, we still have so many signings to fill with a limited budget. Fratesi is an awful transfer because, again, he's a decent player. He's not a bad player. He's good. But he's not as good as Tonali. And again, I think he's older than Tonali, maybe like only by a year or two, but that's still that's still an important factor. You know what I mean? So you got all that going on. It's an awful transfer in my opinion. And then just for the club as a whole, the Mercato is going awfully. Kamada was signed, sealed, delivered, and then Maldini got let go, and he's been in limbo. Thuram said, fuck you, we're going to Inter. Tielemans said, fuck off, don't want to go there. Indica said, fuck off, Roma are offering more money and a starting position, go fuck yourself. Are there any other free transfers that we went after? I should mention, based on free transfers, Kolo Muani was a free transfer last year, but in the same Julian Alvarez and Enzo Fernandez and all that shit. Would he have blown up with Milan? Probably not. He probably wouldn't have been given the opportunity in the first place because De Ketelaere wasn't. So, anyways, I'm trying to think of any other free agents we've approached, but I understand going for some free agents because there were some high value free agents in the market going into this Mercato. Thuram as a free agent's not a bad deal. I think the wages he was asking for were pretty high, so maybe we're better off in the long run not getting him because those are high wages for a player that's maybe not worth it. Bundesliga tax is a real thing, if you ask me. There's just so much space in behind for attackers. It's just not a strong league defensively at all. So again, translating that to Italy, it's kind of tough. Rebic looked good in Germany, and then he came here and he's a six pack of ass. But yeah, so I think maybe that's a blessing in disguise that we missed out on Thuram. I think Tielemans would have been a good signing. Maybe not the profile we needed though, and again, he probably would have been high wages because he's used to the high Premier League wages. I don't even know where he's going to end up landing, but who knows. Indica, I think, would have been good as a backup option, but when Roma's offering you the starting role and more money, as a player, you have to take it. So anyways, those free agents falling through, whatever. But now you've got pretty much nobody who's come in. I think there was a report that we're after some random fucking goalkeeper when there's 6 positions in the team we need to fill and none of them is goalkeeper. It's like, what are you doing, man? But yeah, so the thing that I've been reading as well is that Cardinale and his management have an American sports style mentality with having like a sort of salary cap for the transfer window where they want a self-sustaining, low-cost operating kind of model where they bring in players for cheap, sell them high, and reinvest that and just create a cycle. Now, this is where I'm going to go back to the way I started the conversation with Milan is football royalty, football heritage, as Jose Mourinho. I just like the way he says heritage. This is football heritage. I love Jose Mourinho. Anyways, Milan is football royalty. It's football legacy. Milan has such a high respect and high value and high, placement in the history of football, and our ambition should be to return to that. But with Redbird coming in, Redbird's the new one, right? No, Redbird was the one before. Is this one InvestCorp? Whatever Cardinale's investment team is, I think it's InvestCorp that took over from Redbird. I think that's right. Anyways, that's besides the point. The thing is, with the American-style business model for European football, that only works if everybody is on the same salary cap. You cannot be successful without everybody on the same salary cap, which means where we're headed, if those reports are true, is we are headed towards becoming a Dortmund. And that's not necessarily a slight on Dortmund. I appreciate Dortmund. I love how passionate their fans are. I think they play entertaining football, again, in the Bundesliga tax. But I think they have really passionate fans. I think they're a fun team to watch sometimes. I don't really get a chance to watch football other than Milan and Champions League, if that. Mostly just Milan because I'm just so busy with other shit. Just that's adult life. I wish I was a teenager again and I could just watch football all the time. But that is not the case. So, I think Dortmund can be fun to watch. The thing is, Dortmund bring in these players on good deals and then they sell them and they never win anything. I want my team to be successful. I want my team to win Scudetti. I want my team to win a Champions League again. I wasn't around to watch Milan win a Champions League because I didn't start watching football until after we won our 7th one. I want to see that. I want to feel that emotion. And I don't think we'll ever get there if we have that Dortmund mentality, if we have that, dare I say it, Benfica mentality, that Ajax mentality, that feeder club mentality of, okay, well, we'll sign the talents for low, we'll build them up and we'll sell them on the way and get the new talent and build them up and send them on the way and then we'll just sustain our business and create a profit like that. That is not what Milan is for. If you want to do that, sell Milan and go back onto the board of directors for Toulouse. I'm so bad at saying things, man. But anyways, you know what I'm talking about. He had to resign because there was a conflict. Sell Milan and go fuck off to Toulouse and do your fucking project there. Please, man. Sell us to somebody who has ambition, who's going to invest, who's going to let us spend on the transfer market, take some risks. I'm not saying be Inter and fucking spend all the money in the world and then have FFP up your ass all year and then you have to sell all your players. We're selling out of just, we want to sell to make a profit and then reinvest it at a low. But like, do you really think you're going to bring Fratesi in and sell him for fucking 70, 80, 90, 100 million in a few years? It's Fratesi! Like, he doesn't have that high of a ceiling, man. He's got room for growth, but he has nowhere near the room for growth that Tonali had. It's just, oh, man. I just don't like where Milan's headed. I think the new management just does not have the right mentality for our club. Again, if you want to buy Ajax, Gerry, however you say your stupid fucking name, if you want to buy Ajax and do your fucking feeder club project, go buy Ajax. Go buy Benfica. Go buy Dortmund. Go buy whoever the fuck you want that is not Milan. Sell us to somebody who has success and ambition in mind. Bring Maldini back. Bring Massara along with him. Give them more money. Give them more freedom. Let them cook. Excuse me. But yeah, I don't like where Milan's headed. It's still early in the Mercato. The season hasn't started yet. We have to wait and see how things pan out. But just all the signs are negative right now. They're setting a very dangerous precedent for us becoming a feeder club. And I don't like it. I will continue to support Milan. Any player that comes in, not any player, but most players that come in will have my full... Like, if Frattesi comes in, I'm going to hope he does well, and I'm going to hope he balls out and blah, blah, blah. If he ends up being ass, I'm going to say get the fuck out of my club, like Macias and Rebic and all these players who are just complete garbage that need to fucking leave. If he comes in and he's ass, I'm going to say he's ass and he needs to leave. But if he's not, like, every player that gets signed has my full support as a Milan player. The management does not. Because the management, I don't think, has Milan's success in mind. I think they have their own pockets in mind, and I get it. They're businessmen. They're investors. They're in it to make money. Buy a different club. Sell us to somebody with ambition and go do your project somewhere else. We don't want that project here. We want to win trophies. We want to build our heritage. We want to reclaim our spot in football history as one of the best teams of all time. We want another Champions League. We want another 3. Get us to 10. Get us to fucking 15. We want Scudetti. Get us to another star. Like, we want more. We want to win. We're an ambitious team. We're an ambitious fan group. We don't care about a profit-based mentality management. And again, I'm not saying run the club into the ground financially where we're, have to become insolvent, but spend a little and have a success mentality. Spend smartly with a success mentality like Maldini was doing. Leao was good business and he's fucking huge. Teo was good business. He's huge. Benacer is good business. He's huge. Tonali was good business and now he's worth so much more. But again, we're not like, okay, if we were a Benfica, Tonali's transfer would be so perfect. Because you brought him in for 20. You sell him for 70. You can buy like 3 players at Benfica level for that money. Because you don't need to upgrade. You just need to make profit. We want an upgrade. Cardinale doesn't. Cardinale wants a profit. That is the problem. I don't like where things are going. And I'm really worried for the future of Milan. But we've been through horrible times. We'll probably go through some shitty times again. Hopefully the next ownership has our success in mind whenever it comes, hopefully sooner than later. Gerry Cardinale, meet me in the middle of the ring. And, yeah. Let me know if you watch this whole video. I know I'm looking at my recording thing. It's 40-something minutes. I tend to ramble. I tend to probably speak too much in these opinion type videos. If any of my wrestling fans are still here by this, you'll know my reviews and stuff and my opinion pieces on wrestling go along like this too. But hopefully I explain my thoughts well enough that it's not just, oh, I'm mad, I'm gonna type it out. Like, hopefully I was rational enough with my thoughts that you can see, like, I'm kind of cooking with what I'm saying. But let me know if you guys agree or if you have any other opinions. If you did make it this far, leave them down in the comments. Or if you're here from Twitter, yell at me on Twitter. Some shit like that. I don't know. Anyways, that's it. For the wrestling fans on the channel, more videos are coming soon. Promise. And yeah, that's it. Forza Milan.